Hello and welcome to Beyond. My name's Nathan Blatcher and I'll be your host for today. So before I begin, I'm just going to read through a brief disclaimer. Please feel free to read along as well. Beyond Trader LLC is strictly a research publishing firm. The information we publish is based on our opinions, plus our quantitative models, statistical and financial data, and independent research. This service is not registered with any financial regulatory agency, such as the SEC or any other organization or governmental body. Using our platform or our services, you acknowledge that we do not provide personalized recommendation or advice. Alternative asset classes are volatile investments and carry significant risk. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions. Okay, so this week, I think it'll be a good time to focus on Ethereum as Ethereum is starting to break out. Strangely, Bitcoin has started to back off a little bit, but that could be because we're starting to see the rotation of alt season, and obviously Ethereum is usually the first to break, and we start to see traders moving away from Bitcoin after it tops out, and then starting to move into Ethereum. So let's have a look at our indicators and specifically what they're saying for Ethereum at the moment. So let's start with Beyond Vanguard. And what we've seen for Beyond Vanguard very much mirrors the price action for Ethereum. We're seeing Beyond Vanguard is starting to drop. Obviously, it's got an inverse relationship with price. So what we want to see is Beyond Atlas starting to move lower and into the green zone, and that will show us that the upside in Ethereum is starting to accelerate. The ideal buy signal that we're looking for is for Beyond Atlas to move inside the green zone and stay in there. And from there, we hope to see a repeat some of the previous best rallies in Ethereum. So once we've done that in the 2020 or the late 2020s, and we started to move into the green zone, and you can see Ethereum started to skyrocket. Additionally, we started to see something similar towards the end of 2023, moved into the green zone on a couple of occasions, and then we started to see some huge upsides. So we're just starting to move towards that green zone. And do note that the major price drop that we've seen in Ethereum over the last couple of days and weeks has been pretty significant. So if we see from the period of May, we've moved from the 100 marker and we're close to the 99 period. So that's really reflected what we're seeing in price. And specifically over the last couple of days and weeks, we've moved from around 99.60 down to about 99.10. And as you know, once we move underneath 99, we move inside the green zone. So that's really what we're looking at. And it does seem that ETH is set for a major buy signal. And it certainly seems to suggest that it's got some more scope to trade significantly higher. If we have a look at another one of our flagship indicators, and that would be Vanguard out. If we have a look at Vanguard for Ethereum and we check out what it's doing right now, we can see that we're pretty much getting the best buy signal that we can get, and that's the 1 week and the 3 day. So if we try to hone in on the 1 week time frame, and we can see that we've had a couple of weeks of strong buy signals, and that's a really good thing. And the thing about Ethereum is that when it starts to trend, we typically start to see even as much as maybe five green Vanguard buy signals in a row, and they can just continue to go. And maybe we'll get some scattered blue in there as well. But generally, the uptrend should start to accelerate and continue. And that's one of the key personality features of Ethereum is that once it starts to pick a trend, then it really doesn't stop. And we can see we're on maybe the fourth week this week of the weekly buy signal in Ethereum. And you can see that on our website, Vanguard 1.0 is lagging a week's data, so we need to see the weekly close before we can start to generate the weekly signal. So if you want to see the current data, then we go to TradingView, and we can see that the price here is only about 3,000, but as we speak, it's close to 3,700. So really, we're trading here, and this is going to be the fourth strong weekly buy signal. And typically, like I say, if you look at the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly Vanguard buy signal. So this upcoming week is potentially going to be a very critical week where we could probably reach above the 4,000 level. And are we going to break there or hit the fifth weekly candle and start to consolidate a bit? So these are some of the key considerations. I also want to bring your attention to the pivot points. Something significant has happened this week for Ethereum in terms of its yearly pivot point, and I really want to draw your attention to that. So let's get to the calculated yearly pivot point for Ethereum over here. and we can see that it's moved above its yearly pivot point this week after spending ages below it. It's broke out above it. So what's the connotation or the suggestion here? After we break above the pivot point, after we break above the pivot point, we gravitate towards the R1, the R2, or the R3. So I'm strongly thinking that maybe next week we go towards the R1, we take a pause, and then the next yearly targets are going to be the R2 and the R3. So let's compare that with Bitcoin and see how Bitcoin handled its yearly pivot this year, and see if we can draw some parallels in terms of what Ethereum might be doing now that it's back in vogue. So if we see the pivot point this year on a yearly basis for Bitcoin was 80,000. Okay, we briefly pierced that, but we didn't stay underneath it for very long. And as early as this week, we tagged the R1 or slightly above it. We've moved underneath there, and I strongly believe we won't get anywhere near the pivot, and we're just building up the momentum to start to take out the R1 and gravitate towards the R2. So that's kind of how you play pivot points. And that's how I'm seeing Ethereum going into the next couple of weeks, is that we're going to go towards the R1 and maybe the R2 now that that key rotation has started to happen. So that's what I'm looking for. According to our indicators, we should see at least one more week of big upside in Ethereum. So certainly an exciting week ahead. And next week, I'll be covering what's going to happen with our indicators and looking probably at more at Bitcoin and to check out what Ethereum did this week. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you again next week. Thank you very much.